Hello, Oracles. Well, we are starting to see the competition crack. We have always been questioning, as we get into this difficult economic time, how is competition going to be able to handle this? Some people have spoken about the challenges Tesla is going to face, and certainly they are. But when we are looking at the competition, they're not set up to handle these economic times like Tesla is. So, who is going to fall first? We are starting to get news about some companies that are potentially filing for bankruptcy and other ones that are facing the pressures of Tesla coming down on their prices. We will dive into that in just a minute. All right, so I just wanted to dive into a couple of things first. One thing is a few of you had mentioned that there were other reasons why we saw the entire market turn around yesterday. We did have weak retail sales that came in. That was not a good sign. It was something that was anticipated based upon the holiday spending that we saw. So we kind of anticipated that, but we got that, and that certainly did factor into, part of the market movement. And Fed Bullard did come out and say that he was thinking about doing a 50 basis point hike and thought that was the right move to do on February 1st at the FOMC meeting. Now, Fed Bullard is a non voting member of the Fed anymore. So while his words do still carry some weight, he is no longer a voting member. So that's not going to factor in as much. It may have caused a little bit of the sell off. Again, lots of different things. It's so hard to pinpoint one specific thing that could have caused all of it. So Jerome Powell and getting COVID and the announcement and the timing of the market coming down made the most sense to me. But on an economic level, the retail sales are definitely indicating that we are going to be seeing weaker earnings, which is again something we have been anticipating as well. And the next thing I wanted to point out is this right here. This is a Model 3 headlamp right over my shoulder here. My son's stepdad is a firefighter and a tow truck driver. He responded to an accident with this Model 3. This Model 3 was completely totaled, but I have this headlamp here as a reminder because both of the people in that vehicle walked away with no injuries. This is another testament to how safe Teslas are. This vehicle here, completely totaled. He was able to take the headlamp because the car was just a complete wreck and not even worth keeping anymore. But the people had no injuries. We heard about it in California with that horrific incident. And now an incident for me that hits a lot closer to home is now showing up to really show me, hey, by the way, this is what the future is like. This is how safe vehicles can be. All right, so now getting into this bankruptcy news, breaking news, Arcimoto FUV says it has stopped production of its electric three-wheeled vehicles and may have to seek bankruptcy protection from creditors if it can't raise more money to fund operations. And as Ezer says, who didn't see this coming? And now, while Arcimoto isn't a direct competitor of Tesla, Tesla does not make any three-wheeled vehicles, at least not yet. But this is not a direct competitor, but this is one of those startup EVs that, went public through SPAC last year. And it's like we're seeing this happening with them. There's a bunch of other SPACs that came out at the same time selling different vehicles. We've got Rivian, we've got Lucid, and there's a few others. We're going to dive into those in a minute. But these are companies that, they came in and, startups. Tesla was one of those as well. It took Tesla almost 10 years to become profitable. So because of that, we have startups that are kind of in the same boat, but they're facing a very difficult economic time right now. So for them to have the funds needed to get through this, it's not going to be easy. So we may see more and more of this going on. And in this article here from Barron's, how Tesla's price cut is making its rivals sweat, there should no longer be any doubt about Tesla's position in the global auto industry. Look at what happened after the electric vehicle leader cut prices. It sent just about every auto stock tumbling except its own. Tesla cut price for its cars in the US and Canada this past week, dropping them as much as 20%. The cuts allow most Tesla models to qualify for the new $7,500 purchase tax credit passed as part of the Inflation Reduction Act in the US. It's early, but investors can look at the stock market to suss out some of the impact. The cuts spell tough times ahead for electric vehicle makers and car dealers. Traditional car makers are impacted, but not nearly as much as those two groups. And auto parts companies will benefit modestly from lower vehicle pricing. The impact on EV makers feels easy to understand. They sell EVs just like Tesla and now have to sell them for less. What's more, no EV maker in the US, except Tesla, is profitable. Since the Tesla price cuts, shares of Rivian Automotive, Polestar Automotive, and Fisker are down about 5%, 6%, and 11% respectively. The S&P 500 is down about 1% over the same span. Lucid stock is only down about 2%. That also makes some sense too. Lucid, for now, only sells ultra luxury vehicles. Its customers aren't looking for a deal on a Model 3 or Model Y. Citi analyst Ite McCallie sees another reason Aptiv shares are up following the cuts. The company is a key supplier of parts for autonomous driving systems. With lower priced cars, buyers can afford to purchase higher end autonomous driving systems. Again, this is something we've been speaking about with FSD. McCallie doesn't believe traditional automakers such as Ford Motor and General Motors will see such impact from Tesla's cuts. They sell a lot of trucks and make a lot of money doing so. That segment of the auto market isn't impacted by Tesla's pricing actions. Tesla's Cybertruck isn't due until late this year, and final pricing isn't known. This is true. We're kind of waiting on that. GM and Ford shares are down about 8% and 4% respectively since the cuts, though. Ford is the second largest seller of EVs in the US behind Tesla. That might be the reason for Ford shares being hit a little harder than GM. Luxury car makers compete more directly with Tesla in the US and might feel pressure to cut prices. BMW and Mercedes-Benz Group shares were down a little, both off about 2%. As for Tesla stock, it's up about 4% since the price cuts were announced. Investors have decided, for now, that lower prices will help Tesla sell more EVs, and that putting more EVs within reach of more Americans is a benefit for Tesla and its disruptive technology. And so, this is exactly what we have been talking about, how getting the vehicles out there for people to be driving at lower prices, just putting out as many as we possibly can, will open up that window for more full self driving technology and software to get put into these vehicles. Because people may not have that money right now to spend on a vehicle, but when the economy turns around and they do have more money, guess what? They can now put FSD in their vehicles because they don't have to buy it with FSD. That's the luxury of having this software. Tesla can just say, well, you have the current hardware that you need to be able to handle this software. Now you can have the software. You have to think about Teslas and EVs as big computers. It's really all they are, computers and smartphones. So it's not like your traditional automotive vehicle, like your ICE vehicle, where you have it and that's pretty much it. That's what you get. With an EV, it's a lot easier to update and make that vehicle better just through software. So, yep, we are waiting to see if Arcimoto is actually going to file for bankruptcy. We know that they just put out an offering for some stock. So, we'll see if they can get enough funding coming in. If not, maybe they are the first ones to fall. Now, again, they are not a direct competitor of Tesla, but you guys can let me know in the comments below what company who is a direct competitor of Tesla do you think is going to be one of the first ones to fall? Do you think it's going to be Polestar? Maybe Fisker? You guys can let me know in the comments below. And also, if there's any questions that you guys have, I am doing that Tim's Take at the end of each one of these videos. I don't have any questions as of right now, just because my last video was so close to this one. So if you guys have any questions, again, fire away in the comments. I will bring it up here and I will address them directly on here for you guys so I can break it down easier for you. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you in the next one.